The history of the origin of the unusual hairless dog is not known for certain. It descended from an ordinary dog, but due to the hot environment, it underwent a mutation, having lost its hair. The Chinese Crested Dog is a descendant of the Hairless Mexican Dog Xolo. One of the confirmations of this fact is that completely bald puppies are still being born in the litters of a crested dog. The earliest mentions and archaeological finds, such as statuettes and portraits of naked dogs, confirming their existence, date back to 9 to 12 millennia. Until our time, they have kept records dating from the 15th century, which say that several bald dogs were brought to Europe from Mexico by a navigator. Missionary priests became very interested in this interesting and unusual breed, and they took several naked puppies to the modern territory of China. Several centuries later, through numerous attempts, they still managed to bring out the direct progenitors of this unusual dog. The Chinese crested breed was obtained by crossing a bald dog and an Abyssinian Sandy, Pharaoh dog, Basenji, Maltese, and Tibetan terriers. Due to their docile nature and sincere devotion to the owner, already at the beginning of the 16th century, the dogs accompanied Chinese sailors on ships where they actively fought against rodents, for which they were very much appreciated. This breed in China was very valuable at that time, magical properties and special holiness were attributed to it, therefore, its owners were often high-ranking people. By the mid-60s of the 20th century, the breed was on the verge of extinction. Only thanks to the efforts of breeders from Great Britain, who took the last individuals from the USA to England, its population was successfully restored. Chinese Crested Dog, breed description. According to the type of body structure, these small extraordinary dogs are divided into two categories. Deer type, with soft bones, medium type of structure, with a heavier body and bone. The most famous representatives of this breed have hair on their head, ears and paws, the rest of the skin is completely naked. Rather, they seem naked from the side, in fact, they are covered with very thin down, which is difficult to see with the naked eye. Such an extraordinary appearance makes them very attractive and special. Dogs are private participants in exhibitions and all kinds of competitions. Interesting fact, there is another type of Chinese crested dog, it is less popular and common, but no less attractive. A distinctive characteristic of this dog is the coat that grows evenly throughout the body. The so-called puffs have a smooth and silky hair coat that requires more careful and accurate care. The coat consists of an upper and a lower shirt. The coat on the body is longer than on the muzzle. An interesting fact is that both types of these dogs can be in one litter at once. It is impossible to predict this fact. The general characteristic of the breed is its small size and fragile constitution. The maximum height at the withers is 30 centimeters, with a weight of 5 to 6 kilograms. The narrow and small muzzle has a pointed shape and is always black. The eyes are of medium size, almond-shaped, usually black in color, but they are also found with lighter shades. The ears of the dogs are large and erect, the tail is short. Popular colors of Chinese Crested Dogs. There is no strict standard or color restriction in the Chinese Crested breed, so completely different shades are acceptable. With a wide variety of colors, the color of this breed can be classified into monochrome colors. The most popular shade in this category is blue, with the color being determined by skin color, and the coat can be sable or white. In turn, white is widespread in both hairless and downy Chinese crested dogs. Also, the dominant color is black. Dogs with this color have a black nose and black eyeliners of dark brown color. At birth, black-colored puppies have blue-gray skin. Dogs' chocolate shades have their own peculiarity, it is the color of the eyes, which will always be pistachio green. The palette of chocolate colors is very large, from the darkest shades to the color of milk chocolate. In addition, cream shades and bronze colors of all varieties are common, two-tone colors. In the first place, the color that predominates on the dog's skin is written multicolor or tricolor colors. This subspecies includes dogs with a black muzzle and black eyeliner. The main color is black with white areas on the legs and chest, in the form of a collar, and with a red tan zone. Also, dogs can have 3 colors on the coat. In total, the Commission of the Kennel Federation approved 20 types of colors. Blue, white, the black, bronze, chocolate, cream, tricolor, murigi, sable, blue-white, black and white, bronze-white, chocolate-white, creamy-white, white and blue, white-black, white-bronze, white chocolate, white and cream, black and tan, chocolate and tan. In addition, the breed has such a concept as overcoloration of the coat, which means a change in color to lighter shades. This is mainly due to age-related changes, but there is also early graying that is not associated with aging. The nature and habits of Chinese crested dogs. Despite all the mobility and its curiosity, the representatives of this breed are very peaceful and calm. However, their friendliness does not extend to strangers and strangers. The dog perceives only his family, sometimes even only one person. The advantage of their friendliness is that they can easily establish relationships with other animals in the house. Interesting fact, this is a very shy and sensitive dog, so if she is guilty of something, she should be scolded very carefully. They keenly feel any state of a person. If its owner is bad, the dog will quietly lie next to him without disturbing his peace. This breed is not suitable for busy people, since the dog constantly needs communication. Loneliness will be destructive for it, and it is very difficult to endure a change of owners. Despite her sociability, she does not need frequent and long walks. She will gladly spend the whole day with the owner lying on the bed. Therefore, people with disabilities often get such a dog. The Chinese Crested Dog has good health, but fears the cold. Warm temperatures and hot weather are comfortable for it. Therefore, in the cold periods of the year, the dog must be insulated. In an effort to show his affection and devotion to the owner, the dog is easy to train, can quickly learn all kinds of tricks. She has a special aristocracy and a sense of dignity, and will never bark at someone just like that. An ideal companion and loyal friend, these are the main traits of this dog. Kindness and loyalty will be appreciated by all family members, especially small children, for whom the dog will become the best friend. However, it must be remembered that the Chinese Crested Dog, like no one else, needs the care and love of its owners. Interesting facts about Chinese Crested Dogs. The Chinese Crested Dog is unusual, not only for its appearance and amazing character. Many interesting facts and stories are associated with it. There is still no clear explanation for her bare skin, but there are many speculations and legends invented. According to one of the legends, the dog found a lost baby in the forest and gave him all his wool so that he would not freeze. Grateful parents, who found a healthy and unharmed child, took the dog to their home. The forest spirits, having learned about this act, left her forever in this guise. By the way, the Chinese Crested are very caring mothers. Even when her puppies grow up, she will protect her child from any troubles early on. Due to the high temperature of their own body, dogs can act as a heating pad, showing their healing abilities, helping to cope with rheumatism and osteochondrosis. But because of their sensitive body, it is difficult for dogs to go out in very cold or hot weather, which is why many owners have taught dogs to use house litter boxes. Dogs of this breed are born shrews, therefore, in order to avoid damage to the garden, it is best